showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime.
Yes, it is.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. Hey, how's it going? Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day you're listening, watching, replaying it, whatever it is, we here. I'm Tanya E. Randall.
And I'm Jerry Randall.
And this is another episode of Real Love. Guys, can you believe it? We're at episode 11. We have one more episode. This next week is the season finale. Can you imagine? 12 weeks have already gone by that fast.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Doesn't even seem like that.
Nah, it doesn't.
It doesn't, right?
Nah.
But I would tell you, you know, we always have a funny story. And 9 times out of 10, the funny stories now, they've been on his end. So I just got to share my funny story because the episode, which it was a very powerful episode. Again, you know, got the chance to look a little bit at the recap and just really get excited about, you know, the response and everything that was coming back. So, you know, we got off the air. We started talking about, you know, and just recapping on what we covered and what, you know, we could have said a little bit more of, and just start talking about some of the comments that we read. And this one right over here says, I said, wow. I said, this is so exciting that season 1, you know, was so awesome like this. I said, I can't wait for season 2. He said, wait a minute, hold on. He said, I didn't sign up for 2 seasons. He said, we're going to have to renegotiate my contract. He said, I'm going to need a mug. I'm going to need a cup or something to add to renegotiate my contract.
Ergonomic chair.
Oh, that's what you said. He wants an ergonomic chair. So apparently
something to help my posture.
Don't y'all think he's sitting up quite straight right now?
Y'all always see me doing this.
But that's because he don't want the comfy swirly chair like what I have. When I give him this, then he likes to roll back and chill out in the background, you know, and do all of that stuff. But guys, we're excited. It's episode 11 today, and we're really, really excited because this is December. We're getting ready to enter into 2021. And one of the amazing and exciting things about that is we want to help you create a winning game plan for your relationship. See, whatever is taking place, and I know 2020 was challenging for everybody, whether you were in relationships, whether you were not in relationship, whether you were looking for relationship, whatever it is. But I love the fact that, you know, we want to help you, as you know, we're helping ourselves as well to create a winning game plan for our relationship. So we're going to open up in prayer and then we're going to get started. Amen. Father, we thank you on tonight. We bless you on tonight. We honor you on tonight. And most of all, we're excited about what we're going to share with couples, with those that are dating, with those that are anticipating dating, with those that have been married for a long time. We want to be able to touch the heart of everyone because we all can learn and glean from one another. So tonight we ask that you would allow our words to be transparent, that those that hear may be able to comprehend and pull, as well as share their own experiences and testaments based off of what we share on tonight. Thank you for all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So, you know, guys, we're excited. Hey, Margaret, how's it going? Merry Christmas to my family. Hey, Tammy, how are you? We love you guys so very much. So we just wanted to kind of jump right in and share with you guys on tonight because we think that it is absolutely important to understand that in order to create a winning game plan for your relationship, for your marriage, whether you're just starting out, whether you're dating, whether you're thinking about, you know, dating, whether you've been in a solid, you know, marriage for years, you know, right now, you have to have a game plan. And, you know, when you think about creating a game plan, you have to think about, again, we talk about it all the time, understanding that you can't stay in the same place that you are, even in a relationship. It doesn't, you know, help to this year, whatever you went through an experience, and you turn around next year and you still end up in the same boat, even if circumstances around you are changing. The thing that you made the commitment to in the relationship, you ought to see it evolving. It ought to be able to take another step in order to make something better. Because, and for those of you, I was a Neo fan, and one of his songs that I love, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. You make me better. Good evening, Auntie Charlotte. How's it going? And you got to realize you make one another better when you create goals for each other and create goals in a relationship. So a winning game plan is something that you have to do together. See, I can't turn around and get in my own cocoon and bubble and say that I'm Tanya E. Randall gonna create a winning game plan for myself. And then if he jumps on board, it's all good. But if he doesn't, well, at least I did mine and I covered mine. That's not a winning relationship. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to do your own thing. They're going to do their own thing. You're never going to be able to come together and see what you can do together, or even come to the point of even discussing, because all the part of creating a winning game plan means that we're putting something together so that way we can get results that we want together. I can get results on my own and Jerry can get results on his own, but how much more powerful would you be united as a forefront to be able to get outcome out of it together? Jerry Randall?
No, it's simple. Like, the game plan gives you the motivation. It gives you, you know what I'm saying, the purpose to go ahead to achieve the thing that you want. So if you're in a relationship and your relationship don't have, you know what I'm saying, a game plan, you know what I mean, you're in a relationship that's going to stay stagnant. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, with Tanya and I, we find ourselves, as we're tackling each game plan, it allows us to continue to recreate, you know what I'm saying, new ideas and new things that we want for our relationship.
Right.
And some of them are easier than others, but it doesn't determine, you know what I'm saying, the outcome of that plan. We haven't had a game plan that failed.
Right.
So
because we've planned it together.
Yeah. And we were motivated in executing it.
Exactly. And sometimes in relationships, someone might get discouraged because, you've tried that before with the person that you're with, and it didn't seem like it worked out because somebody lost interest, or all of a sudden somebody got a little more, greedy than the other one, and, changed up the game, in the middle of, halftime and said, we're going to do this, a whole nother way, but yet do it on your own. When you're talking about creating a winning relationship in the midst of your relationship, you've got to know that once you set the game plan, there are things that may alter, but let them alter together. Yeah. See, I'm an avid football fan and I love football, and the coaches don't turn around, defense nor offense, they don't turn around and create the game plan the day of the game. Because if they did that, they most likely would not win the game. But what they do is they already have a game plan in motion. And if they feel the need during a particular play that hasn't worked, they already have even the other game plans that's already written out. But then when they come on the field, they say, okay, no, instead of doing this one, we're going to turn around and do this. And you'll hear the quarterbacks yelling out some crazy stuff. And it may seem crazy to everybody else, but the people on the team, they know what that means. And see, I don't care if nobody else around your circle don't understand what you're doing. Well, why are you sharing your money with them? Why are you sharing your dreams with them? Why are you allowing them to, dictate to you? Or why are you listen? They're outside of your circle. Keep the game plan in the house so that way when you execute well, and you're able to show others in their relationship how to be able to execute well.
Yeah, there's going to always be obstacles and trials that try to hinder you from executing your plan. And like Tanya said, you got to know how to audible out of something. You know what I mean? You got to have the backup plan already, in effect, because there's going to be obstacles. We know that there's going to be situations that arise that's going to change the plan, but it shouldn't change, once again, the motivation to execute it. You know what I mean? Because we have a backup in place. You know what I'm saying? If something do, come up. And that's important. And that comes with proper planning. Yeah. And I always say what the 5 Ps are. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So when you properly plan something, most likely that thing that you plan, you're gonna fulfill,
Right.
because you put, you know, and I talked about this yesterday. You put specific detail in this plan.
That's right.
So therefore, you're looking at all angles, all variables. It doesn't mean that opposition isn't gonna come or is not gonna happen.
Right.
It just means that you're prepared for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When you're prepared for something, it don't take you by surprise. You know what I mean? It's almost like welcoming adversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that saying, but the truth of the matter is you have to, because you know adversity is going to come
Definitely.
in life. So if you welcome it and you're prepared for it, that means you know how to handle it.
Exactly. And you don't lose the person that you're with, that when y'all are trying to work that thing out and you see that there is opposition that comes along with it. You know, the one thing, if you're on the same page with the person that you're with, anything could come up against you and you are still going to stand strong. And that's only because your foundation has been laid first. See, you can't turn around and expect to turn and start building when you haven't selected the right foundation that you want to build on. If you set a goal and say that this is what we're going to do, we're ending out 2020, we're going into 2021 with a plan. That plan that you put in place, like Jerry said, there may be opposition and obstacles that may come up and go. But when you set that foundation of what you are going to establish, guess what? It's going to come to pass. However, whatever things come in the midst of it, whatever things try to sidetrack it, it is still going to come to pass, because what you speak from out of your mouth and what you stand to believe and what you both move toward together. You cannot build a winning game plan when you are on opposite teams. I can't turn around. We're Steelers fans. We can't turn around and build a strategy and a game plan for another team, because it doesn't match what our defense and offense is. But here's the thing that you got to realize. How do you vision your future with the one you're with? See, if I'm secret about everything, and then I get an attitude with you when you don't get on the page that you want me to be on, or when I'm on a different page and you're on another page, you can't get upset with the individual when there's no conversation or communication happening with what you're trying to build. See, if you set a goal, set the goal, honor the goal, and then move forward. But if you don't have vision for the person that you're with, like I have vision, but I know what his vision is. I know what our vision is. So you got to know every dynamic, because let me tell you something. The enemy's crafty, things are crafty, people are crafty, and it will make you feel like, why am I even getting myself involved in the situation when outside, I call it disturbances, try to come in and infiltrate? Well, you know what? You should be doing more. He should be doing more. Y'all should be doing this together. And now you start to second guess what your plan is. But see, when you understand that you got a vision for your future as a relationship, husband and wife, you're dating, there should be nothing that should be able to remove or alter that. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your sister, not your brother, not your kids. Because they will come in and try to offset and alter the vision that you may have for your future. Because I always say this, and we've said it in a lot of different episodes, kids are going to grow up and they're going to leave you. And if they've already left you, bless you. But if they're still there, they are going to grow up and they're going to leave you. So the game plan, while they're there, have the game plan with them. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, and having everybody on the same page with you. And if not, then you turn around and listen. You got to create your own steps in your own direction to be able to allow what you want from out of your relationship to come to fruition.
And I'm done. Yeah, it's funny. It's like being a one-trick pony or a one-man show, right? and you just don't want to. You don't want to be that. You know what I mean? When you're thinking about, you know what I'm saying, the vision, you know what I'm saying, with in the future, with the person that you're with. You got to realize that, you know what I mean? And I know we're using sports, but and for the analogy of it, it's a team sport, you know what I mean? And it's really working together, you know what I mean, to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, the goals, you know what I mean, in the relationship,
right?
You know, and like I said, when you're working together, you know what I mean, sometimes the running back don't always run the football. Sometimes the running back has to block for pass protection. You know what I mean? That's an adjustment. That's outside of really his skill set or what he's really being paid to do. but you have to do it with your head held high and with the same tenacity of you having that football in your hand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes a wide receiver, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to always have the ball thrown to him, but he still have to block, you know what I'm saying, on the outside, because the running back might be coming, you know what I'm saying, around on a jet sweep or something. So you just want to make sure you play your position and play your position to the fullest.
Right.
Don't look at it as, you know what I'm saying, you might not be the center of attention or the main focus, you know what I'm saying, and the goal, because if you're looking at it like that, you know what I'm saying, it's an I thing, and then most likely, you know what I mean, you're not going to be as successful as you can be, you know what I'm saying, when you're working together as a unit, man. You know what I'm saying, moving. Like she said, she liked that song, you know what I'm saying, we're forced when we're together. You know what I mean? We're forced when, you know what I mean? But we're forced. You know what I mean? You can move it, but you're forced when you're together. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like that the scripture says, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Two, not one, but two could put 10,000 to flight. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it from that perspective, you realize, you know what I'm saying, that two heads are better than one. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because you're getting the perspective of looking at it from two different ways, two different angles, two different points of views, right, which gives you more insight and gives you more knowledge.
And that comes from sitting down and understanding together. See, you don't know it all. And when you sit down and you bounce things off of each other, you build faster. See, and that's one of the things that's so key. You have to realize that, and we realize that, you know, in our relationship, it doesn't help, you know, for one person to think that they have the whole master plan. Because if you've turned around and you know the person that you're with and you're really looking to lock down and implement, you're not going to know everything and they're not going to know everything, but putting it together, it's going to create something that's literally going to transform your lives to the point that you understand that, listen, oh my God, I didn't realize and know that this was absolutely possible. And when you find out how fast you build, it becomes like mind blowing. When Jerry said to me, when we got in the beginning of our marriage, you said 4 years, he was going to get me a house. That first 3 years, it was crucial because I know that was his vision. In my first year or two, I still had an issue with, you know, spending money. I like to grocery shop. It wasn't like regular shopping. Y'all know I like to eat. So I would just grocery shop and buy like $300 worth of groceries. And he was like, listen, the kids are not even here like that. And you're buying all these groceries and food is being wasted and you're cooking all this extra food. He said, are you working with me or against me? And I'm thinking like, well, shoot, we got to eat. So I don't think I'm working against you. But the reality was I was working against him because $300 to spend for groceries when half of it is really being eaten and the other half is not. And that can be money added to the vision that was established. So when there was an understanding, but it wasn't an understanding, you become now the primary, not the target, but you become the primary to pull the vision back and set it back a course. That's why I said when you're on the same page, you can build so much faster. You can do so much more. And it's an amazing thing to be able to understand and do that. Now, one of the things that we want to talk about, because this is something that a lot of people, you know, don't like to talk about, but we hear it from couples, you know, and we talk about it with couples. But what goal have you set for your love life? Because, you know, a lot of times people think, well, she's supposed to know that I love her. Well, is she? He's supposed to know that, you know, I'll do anything for him. Well, does he? See, the one thing in relationships, when you're talking about building a winning game plan, you don't even want to give room for nobody else to be able to have that openness to be able to say, well, you know what? Your man, how does he really love you? What does he do for you? What does he say for you? Does he stimulate your mind? You know, people come with the corny lines and stuff, you know, and I think they still do those corny lines and things like that. But you don't want anything from the outside to try what's on the inside that you're building. So when it comes to that, you have to be able to know how to even invest and create a winning game plan for your love life. See, every now and then when I know, okay, he ain't seen me dressed up in a minute. Okay, you know what? You better dress up. It ain't no place to go for COVID, but guess what? Dress up every now and then. Let him see that, you know what? The winning game plan is that you found me looking this way. Every now and then you ought to see me looking this way. Except for Pastor Diane. She dressed all the time. made up and done all the time. But it's amazing because some of the very minute things in relationships that we can just tweak just a little bit, we refuse to because we feel like if there's no reciprocation that's coming back, and here's the part that's dangerous. It should be something done together. Like we say all the time, we always try to outdo one another in the relationship. So if he said or complimented me, baby, you look good, I'm saying, no, baby, but you look better. You have to be able to get into that place of finding time to even create a winning game plan for your love life. Listen, you might not have had a date in a long time with one another, but you better get on a date regimen. You might not have made love to your spouse, in a long time. You better get on a regimen and find a date somewhere. You may not have just spent that quality time, like we call it pillow talk. We might set up, because look, I work all day while I'm here at home, and he works out there, up on that roof and, in the trenches and has school and stuff. But we know a lot of times we get in bed, we go to sleep. But when we know we need to spend that quality time, it's like, okay, well, you know what? We need to just have some pillow talk. Let's just talk. Let's talk. Let's invest in one another. Let's stimulate one another mentally to see where we are, to see what's going on. These are the things that shun away the neglect, because love doesn't always have to be, we got to be in bed having sex. But what can you do to stimulate where we're going as far as our love life is concerned? Are you still in love with me, or were you ever in love with me? And you only find these things out when you're spending that time and making goals and plans toward a winning love life. You want to jump in there real quick on that?
And I just want to talk about, because I know, like, for a lot of couples, especially couples that's been together for years, you know what I mean? And, both parties can get kind of busy with work, you know what I mean? And you were talking about just setting dates, man, like just, romantic dates, you know what I mean? Whether it, even though COVID is there, like I said, and we said earlier, there are still things that you can go and do together, you know what I mean? That's not expensive, but even setting sex dates, you know what I mean? That's important.
That's
important.
I mean?
It's important. And a lot of people don't like that's not spontaneous. Like, sometimes we just need to be on the same page. So if we have a date set for this time, you know what I mean? This date is coming up, you know what I mean? Whether you're tired or not, we had this plan, you know what I mean? Because we don't want to lose that thing that we have. And you will be surprised how many couples may not be having sex the way they used to, because, you know what I'm saying, they're just not on the same page as the person that they're dealing with. You know what I mean? So set dates, man, and try to hold true to that date. You know what I mean? So therefore, you're taking care of the needs of your partner. You know what I mean? The one that you're with. You know what I mean? Where they're not feeling neglected, or they're not feeling, because see, the devil, the enemy, tries to get into people's minds and play with their mental. You know what I mean? Well, he haven't had sex with me in a long time, and so he must be having sex with somebody. He ain't take me out on a date in a long time. He must be taking somebody. You know what I mean? So you can alleviate that. You could, like the old song said, you can kill that noise. You know what I'm saying? If you set dates and you adhere to those dates. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to do those type of things.
And you got to know, what can you add to do something different? Because if you're with the person and you've been with the person for a while, or, if you've been in a relationship and you've really spent time with that individual, the things that the person may like, because there's certain, hints or certain things that people will talk about. And if you being in a relationship have not grown to have your ears sensitive to hear what the cry is of the person that you're with, then you got to go back and get a checkup. Evaluate, where you are, and are you preoccupied with so much that you don't really see the person that's in front of you? Because in order to have that winning game plan, you got to have the person on the page with you sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally. You've got to know that one another has that ability and that power to stimulate each other, so that nothing from any place or any crack, any crevice can enter in and disrupt what you're trying to build. Because listen, at the end of this, your end game got to be big. I was in the car, and as I was driving back this afternoon from the store, it was so funny. It just came to my mind. How do you eat an elephant? And I'm like, what in the world? Where'd that come from? And I'm like, I don't even know where it come from. Sometimes thoughts just come to my head. But it was crazy because it was almost like the riddle, that I've heard for so long ago, one bite at a time. See, sometimes we look at the big picture and it's so overwhelming, for a husband or a wife. It's overwhelming for, the one that you're dating. And it's like, well, I don't think I can be everything to that individual because they want too much. They're too needy. No, it's not the fact that they want too much. It's the fact that you haven't sat down to count the cost yet. You haven't sat down to put the winning plan together, because once each other is on the same page, the plan becomes it becomes existent. It becomes validated and it becomes doable. So now the things that they once complained about as y'all being together, you won't complain about those things anymore.
It won't overwhelm you.
Exactly.
It won't overwhelm you anymore.
Exactly.
It's almost like, I remember like when I was looking at, a certain time in my life where it looked like, there was no light in the tunnel. You know what I mean? But the more you knock these things down, the more light you start to see.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you can have a big goal that might not look like it's obtainable.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, it is.
It is.
You know what I mean? All you have to do is tackle it one step at a time. You know what I mean? Don't look at oh, well, I only make this much money, I can only do this. No, the truth of the matter is, once you put your plan into effect and you learn how to shave off unnecessary things that you do. See, the thing is, it's self-sacrifices and it's learning how to shut off things, that you thought you may have needed or things that you think you may like, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Because you have to look at the bigger picture and the greater goal. You know what I mean? So if you're trying to add to your love, you have to do something different to add to your love, to add to your relationship.
Right.
And that's, like I said, in a lot of things, it takes communication and self-sacrifice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have to have the communication with the person you're with, and you're going to have to self-sacrifice, not self-sabotage, but self-sacrifice, because a lot of people self-sabotage, the very things that they want. You know what I mean? It's almost like, you're killing the seed that you're actually planting, not allowing it to germinate, because when you put a seed into a ground, you don't add fertilizer to it until it germinates.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's when you do it. But some people don't know how to plant and grow to receive the harvest, so they mess up everything that they do, and they find that they start wasting money instead of making money.
Right. And that was something so powerful that he just shared, with allowing the seed to be able to germinate first. So when you start to do something different and going towards creating a winning game plan, at first it may seem like there's no progress, so there's nothing that has happened because you may not necessarily see it, but keep doing it. Keep the repetition of it. Keep talking about the plan. Keep talking about, the investing in one another. Keep talking about how you're going to build with each other, and one of the things that I wanted to share and piggyback as Jerry had chimed in was, some people don't even know how to love because they may not have seen how it is to be able to love an individual, or how to spend time with that individual, or how to compliment that individual, or how to be secure in knowing that when that individual is out of your presence, that the love that y'all have is enough to be able to keep you trustworthy, that person that just left your presence is still in love with you. They're not going off the deep end or off the deep page. And that only comes through establishing and reestablishing that winning game plan. Because once you get it in there, you got to know that nobody is going to sidetrack it and take it off course. And, as far as intimacy is concerned, see, you got to learn to get back to the basics. If you just now take it for granted, the person that you're with because you've invested and y'all have spent, time and years together, don't ever take it for granted, because a person is always going to be in need of intimacy. And intimacy, like we just said, it doesn't have anything to do with just jumping in the bed, sleeping with each other. Sex is great. Sex is good. But at the end of the day, when your body ain't in that position or feeling like it can tolerate or need sex, can you still be able to stimulate that person intimately through conversation? Can you be able to open up, that direction to be able to, share with them, intimate moments, intimate things? Because sometimes as men don't like to share because they feel, well, you know what? I don't need to be, that detailed. I don't need to share with you, what I might be going through because you can't help me anyway. But when you've locked in with the person that you're with, every word that comes out of their mouth ought to be as important, to you as what it is that's coming out of the individual's mouth that's sharing it.
It's even to the point when you look, because I love this statement. If you have no love or intimacy, how can you start it? And the crazy thing is when you first meet some people, right? And you are most likely the first thing that you see is the physical person. You're physically attracted to that person.
Right.
You're used to start to see each other. You're dating, you're going through the motions, getting to know each other. You get into, a long-term relationship. You're still getting to know each other.
Right.
And things progress, along the way. Next thing you know, you're in a serious relationship. And some of the things the person may like about you, right? But there may be some things that the person might not be pleased with.
That's good.
So a lot of times, right, as men, I know we have like the biggest egos in the world because we think we satisfy women across the board. You know what I'm saying? We think we satisfy them sexually, mentally. We just think we stimulate every part of their mind and all of this.
That y'all got
and
the
truth of the matter is, right, sometimes, right, because of pride, we might not ask the person that we with, baby, am I satisfying you in this way?
That's
you know what I mean?
Question.
And because we feel that we are, and as men, we want to make sure that we're taking care of the needs of the person that we're with. You know what I mean? That woman shouldn't feel like you got yours and she didn't get hers. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we need to ask if we don't know for a fact. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, the women should be able to tell the truth without feeling like the man is going to be crushed, because this is the thing. You don't want no one party to not be satisfied. Now, I happen to be talking about sex right now, but just like she said, with the small things, with the pillow talk, are you stimulating my mind? Sometimes ask, the women sometimes need to ask, or the woman need to, be truthful and say, yo, listen, you're not doing this. I don't believe the best that you can. If you take a little bit more time to do this, maybe it could produce that. And so that's part of real communication. That's real conversation, what I mean? To get the desired results, that the couple need to progress further in a relationship. And it's the truth, because I know that we feel that we're the best. We want to be the best lover, that woman ever had.
That's
what I mean?
Right,
and the truth of the matter is, you might not be, but you can get there if you talk to her and you get to know her on that type of level. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we need to make sure that we ask those questions, and then when we're asking those questions, that the woman can tell the truth and give the answers. You know what I mean? That without the attitude, and without feeling like you're crushing the spirit of that individual, because the end result is that we want to be better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We want to be better. You know what I'm saying? That way nobody is getting the short end of the stick. And I ain't just talking about sex. I'm talking about across the board. I just use sex because that's very important. People wonder why people go cheat and go do certain things, man. It ain't always that person may be, doing them wrong. It's just that you might not be satisfying them, in the way they need to be satisfied. Now they find themselves going back to an ex who was able to satisfy them, but who may have been a cheat.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, you'll be surprised some of the things that we hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that really needs to be addressed. And it seems like it's something big, but it could just be something very minor, a minor detail that we can fix, to make our love stronger and greater.
Yep. And that's the key. What Jerry said, you can't be afraid to turn around and share those moments or those, and they're not failures. There's something, because remember we said to understand, as you're growing, you're changing. Your mind is changing, your body is changing, your feelings, the way you used to feel about something, you may not necessarily feel like that anymore. So this is why we harp on communication, because if you don't know something, you can't just assume something in the relationship. You have got to sit back and talk with the person that you're with. See, I love the fact that people clown us, all the time, because we talk literally all the time on the phone. When he's at work, he'll call, and everybody may not have that type of job or that flexibility. But even so, when you think about the fact that when we're talking about setting that designated time, set that time. If it's in the evening and it's 30 minutes, 30 minutes is a whole lot of time versus no time at all. And allow it to gradually grow, because the more you talk and communicate with the person that you're with, the more interesting you're going to find them. And if you don't find that person interesting no more, then you got to find out what was the thing that had me interested in you from the beginning, and start back there and build there. Your foundation always has to start on some type of level. It didn't start from nothing. It started from something. So the thing that it started from is the thing that you got to bring it back to. You listen, if you was used to the person that you were with, and they brought you flowers, or they took you to lunch, or they made you lunch, or they put a note in your lunch, or did any of those things, listen, get back to that. Do something that turns around and causes a conversation, because when you're talking about the end game and winning and creating one, you've got to be able to know what tools can I use in my relationship to turn around and make this thing bigger at the end. So the next thing we wanted to talk about is, what goal have you set for your finances as a couple? Because a lot of times people say, okay, that's your stuff over there. This is my stuff over here. Your stuff is your stuff. My stuff is my stuff. But what if you have a winning game plan? You can't build it by yourself. Because if you wanted to build it by yourself, then you should have never got involved in a relationship, or you should have never got married. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have different things that you desire to do, but you should have the winning basis of the game plan together. Because if I fall short, I want to know that my husband is there to have my back. If he falls short, he want to know that I'm there to be able to have his back. And I don't care if it's $5. If that $5 is going to be able to build over time and compound itself. And here's what I'm talking about with the compound. It was done without any selfishness. It was done without any, how can I get this back from you and this return, back from you? Or what are you going to be able to do for me if I do this for you? See, when you're talking about building a winning game plan, you're looking at building the picture together. And I can recall when we started out, in our relationship, and when we got to the point of determining what it was that we were looking to build, listen, everything became ours together. Now, the funny thing is, he always laughs and says, Tanya always have money somewhere. And I say the same thing about him. I know he have money somewhere. But the thing is, at the end of the day, he knows that I have his back, and I know that he has my back. We know that we come together when it comes down to the things of the household and the things of his business and my businesses, that we come together with everything. And whatever we do on the side is a bonus, but the bonus is we still talk about it together and build it together. I don't ever want to be in a relationship where I'm the only one making the decisions for my own sake. Because you can't turn around and have a winning game plan for your finances if you're the only one that got the game plan.
Nah, the finances is really funny in relationships. I look at when we got married, and I look at our vows that we became one.
That's
we left
important.
our mother and our father, and it says to cleave to you. You know what I mean? Cleave to me, baby. Cleave. A little harder. And because we became one, it allowed us to really operate, in a together mode. A lot of times when you pay this bill, I pay this bill, if that person work a short week, it can lead to arguments, it can lead to distractions, it could just lead to so many things. I found what's beneficial in our relationship, and I just love it, is like really having each other's back in that aspect where if you got it, you put it on this bill,
right?
You pay this bill. We have a bill. Oh, one thing, we have a billboard in our room.
Billboard.
And it's a calendar. It has every date.
Mika says, "Speak up, you using your sexy voice."
It's a calendar. It's a calendar. It has every date on it for every bill that we had. You know what I mean? That we have. You know what I mean? So we know the exact day. We can see it. You know what I mean? It don't just get alerts to our phones. We can literally look at that board in our bedroom. You know what I mean? So there's no confusion of not knowing what's going on with our finances,
Right.
which makes it easier, you know what I'm saying, for things to get done, you know, when both parties see it and both parties can pay attention, because I might be on an off week, she might be on an on week. I might be on an on week, she might be on an off week. You know what I mean? But no matter what, because we're working together,
Right.
when we both see the need, the necessity for the house, for the maintenance of the house, which makes it easier for us to do. You know what I mean? So I love that. You know what I'm saying? That works for us like that, you know.
And you're taking the stresses away.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing, because when when an individual in a relationship feels like, okay, if they have a plate full of what they have to deal with, and the other person may have less of a plate, you know, to be able to deal with, if anything goes wrong with that plate that other individual has, and there's no communication to a winning plan, when that person gets overwhelmed and frustrated, guess where that frustration is going to come back to? Your relationship. It's going to come back to your home front. It's going to be discussed probably with everybody else besides you. And this is why we say, have that plan to work together, because if you're working together and you're helping one another, you know, we've heard people say, listen, you know what? Well, I don't want to help them because they make more money than I do, or, you know, I don't want to deal with that because I don't want, you know, nobody saying that you know, they've done more than what I've done, whatever the case may be. But we're talking about creating a winning game plan. And when you're talking about a game plan, everything is the two of yours. When you're locked into a relationship, I don't care if one is making millions of dollars than the other. You're locked in together. Because listen, Jerry brought it back up. Listen, your vows, it's saying for better or for worse. So listen, it might be a better day for me. It might be a worse day for me. But I got to know that if we're building a winning plan, that we're doing this together. Don't negate the fact that, you know what, even if, and I mean, a lot of people are dealing with it through this time in the pandemic. You know, some people have lost their jobs. Some people are collecting unemployment. You know, you don't want the extra outside pressure coming in to impact where your relationship is, because anything has the ability to turn around and become a negative vibe inside of your, you know, winning circle, and you don't want that. We wanted to talk, you know, again, adding to that, this part was kind of important for us because we have older kids. You know, our kids, some are out the house, some are still in the house. You know, we grab kids, we do all. We do all kinds of stuff. It's like we grab kids. We
don't grab kids off the street. We
don't grab kids. We really don't.
We don't grab kids like that. Let's go knock on their door. There's a whole bunch of missing kids. And we don't grab kids.
No, but you know what the amazing thing is? Even with family, when you're talking about creating a winning game plan, see, everybody got to be on the page.
Yep.
You have to bring family on the same page, because if not, family will also cause you to turn around and lose track or get off the track of your winning game plan. And you can't even afford to let family take you off track. See, the one thing I said, that if you have family or you have people in your life that are trying to cause you to jump off of that winning track in your relationship, or even if you're not in a relationship and you're single and you got people around you that's trying to alter and take you off your track, like, okay, well, you know what, I'm single, let's go out and eat every day. You know that's not your winning goal, so why are you going? Listen, once a week or once every other week is good, but why are you taking me, or why am I allowing myself to be taken from off of my winning track? You've got to set that course for what you want, because at the end of the day, we can't play the blame game and say, oh, it was this person that made me, you know, lose track of, you know, what it was that I was going to do, or my goal didn't come to pass because, you know, I let you do. No. And if they can't get on that page, guess what? Start a new chapter. Get them out of the picture. Start a new chapter, because you can't afford to allow nothing to move you from off of that track. And sometimes kids know what they're doing, and sometimes they don't know what they're doing.
Mhm.
But when they pull on your winning, plan, you got to say, listen, hey, sit them down. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing right here. Well, we've been living in an apartment. We want a house. So we need all of y'all together on the same page. This is what we're going to do. Whatever it is, you got to bring them on that page.
Yeah, I remember when the kids were teenagers, man, and it was just it was so much stuff going on. And I was like, if I had hair, I would have been pulling my hair out. I was just losing it, right? And I remember going to my apostle. Shout out Apostle Eugene Brunson of Wayfair Ministries. I was going to my apostle. I'm going in the office. And he'll put me in the office. He'll sit me down. He'll look at me. I tell him what my gripe was. I do all my venting. He'd be like, son, you got to pull them all on the same page. He'll say, call a house meeting. Bring everybody together. You know what I mean? In a house meeting. And it's so funny because as family, sometimes everybody's just doing their own thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? In the house. And there's no unity in the house, even though you're family, which sounds crazy. But in this day and time, that's how the system is set up to be. Right. Bring everybody together in the living room and tell everybody what's going on and what everyone's role is, right. Especially as the man in the house. It's almost like we relinquish our authority. Right. You know what I mean? And the truth of the matter is we shouldn't. You know what I mean? We should always make sure we keep the authority, bring everything, together under the subjection and the rule of, the two who's running the house. Right. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that everybody really get on the court. You know what I mean? Tanya shouldn't have to clean up. Tanya shouldn't have to be cleaning up after grown kids, you know what I mean? That have jobs and so on and so forth. We shouldn't have to be, providing certain things when you're capable of doing that yourself. And we just got to use, sometimes you have to bring the issues, the attention to the individual where it's needed. And we don't bring our families together like we used to because everybody's just running rapid. That's true. And I had to get clarity on that, man, because I was losing my mind at one point about the way my house was being orchestrated, but I got it back under control. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Through the counsel. A lot of times we don't want to go seek wisdom from elders or go seek advice from people who've already been there and done it. But that's why we struggle so much, because we don't seek the help that we need in certain areas. Right. And, I always admire, there's a family that lives down at our other end of the street there. And we've watched this family, they're a family of Mexicans. Mm-hmm. But we've watched this family turn around and convert. I don't know if that was like a 2 or 3 family house or whatever it was, but we watched them convert into a one family house. Mm-hmm. But what we watched is they had to have a winning game plan. Oh, absolutely. Because we keep seeing a turnover of family that just keeps coming through, and they're there, then they're gone, they're there, and then they're gone. But it gives us the indication to just let you know that there has to be a winning game plan for your family. Absolutely. Because when there's a winning game plan, then that means that everybody is going to get the same thing of what's being put out there. Mm-hmm. And when it's being put out, everybody has the opportunity to now build off of it. And like I said, if they can't build off of it, then start a new chapter. That means that, you know what, you got to go create your own book. Because this book right here, we're going to build together. And in the African American community, these are things that we see that are lacking when it comes down to relationships. Mm-hmm. We don't sit down and share with, other people in relationships and other families how to be able to sit down and build a winning platform. And then even to the part of what is your end game? Mm-hmm. See, our end game in everything that we do is not GoFundMe. It's not, I didn't have no insurance, so it's over and done. I didn't have a savings. I didn't create a legacy. I didn't do all these things. And see, this is something when we're talking about creating and putting a winning game plan in place. These are things that are also important. Mm-hmm. See, in relationship, you have to understand when you pull stress from out of a relationship, you can accomplish anything, anything. And even to the point up to death,
you will be able to see that there was a winning game plan in place. You know, years ago, long ago, I didn't think that. I'm like, okay, shoot, we all still young. Ain't nobody dying right now. So we don't really need insurance right now. But that was a dumb statement to be able to make, because we don't know the daytime or hour that we're going to leave here. But is there a winning game plan even for your family and for your relationship, even unto death? Is there any policies in place that when it's said and done, you know what? Everything is in line and in place because you've set up the winning strategy. It's important. It's just as important as you breathing and living today. Are your investments in order? See, we don't look at these types of things. And a lot of times we say, well, you know what? I got to see the money right now in my pocket. I got to see it right now in my account. I got to see, you know, everything that I need that's mine. I got to see it right now. But one thing, in me being in business and being an entrepreneur and being around people that, you know, are in multi-million-dollar brackets, I watch and I listen and see how they create investments, not for today, but for down the road. And it may not even be for them because they may not live to see it, but they're figuring and putting it together for the end game of those that's preceding them. So even in that, when you're talking about creating a winning game plan for your relationship, for your life, for your family, you got to look at the end game. How can I do it? And let me tell you something. When you're looking at it, even investing, you don't have to bite the whole and eat the whole elephant. Bite off the small pieces and find the smallest of investments, because the smallest of investments turn to the greatest end of returns. But you've got to start somewhere. And well, you know what? If you a single family and you an individual where you are the only provider, you might be a mother in your home, you know, and the only provider, you might be a father with your children and the only provider. Listen, it doesn't mean that you're stuck. $5 have turned around and have accumulated over time for people when they're serious about their commitment to creating a winning game plan in the end. And, you know, a lot of times people tell you, well, you know what, if you can't do it big, then don't do it at all. But the thing is, if you don't do it at all, you're still where you started from last time. It doesn't help. And this is the things that, you know, we realize, because once you do it, and you see that it's able to be done, others are going to follow. The same way, if you wanted to go on vacation, you started planning, you started looking for the destination first. Then you found out what the cost of it would cost you. Then you started putting money away for the trip. Then you turned around and got transportation and air transportation and all of those things. You didn't just come out of pocket and just created the whole thing, but you actually planned it out. So if you could plan a vacation, why not plan an end game for you and your spouse, or you and your family, you and your children, or just you yourself? It's possible to be able to be done, and it's big, it's important. What and I'm telling you, you can get the kids on the page, Dre. You can absolutely get the kids on the page. And this is, you know, something, you know, that we say. We talk to our grandkids now, and we tell our grandkids, listen, this is the way this is going. The things that we're doing for the betterment of you, and you're going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and you should be doing X, Y, and Z. You start to put it in the head now. That's why I said, even with relationships, if you start talking about what you want now, and that person is hearing it from you constantly, don't take it for granted that, you know what, I think Jerry loves me. Every morning when he leaves out the house, love you, baby cakes. Give me a kiss. Love you too, sexy girl. Listen, I'm not going to take it for granted. And every now and then on our pillow talk, baby, you know what? Did I tell you lately that I'm still in love with you? And he'll blush a little bit, and he like he blushing right now. He'd be like, yeah, yes, I am. See, you don't take it for granted. The things that you are trying to build, you are creating a legacy. And our daughter said this to us some months back, and, you know, I don't know if one of our other sons said it to us as well. They said, you know what, people don't get married no more. There's no example of relationships out there no more, you know. And she always say, other than y'all, that's what I see. She said, and, you know, my nana, my granddad. But I said, no, I said, the thing is, I said, relationships are not played out. I said, relationships are just, going through trying times. I said, but relationships is going to come back like what they said, like light skin or like dark skin is coming back in, because people have to realize that if you're with someone and you've spent and invested time and years and you've invested energy, why not do the do-over? Why not try it again and start from the basics of the foundation of where you started and build from there? Because it's possible. It's possible.
I just want to reiterate on the investment real quick. The investment is probably one of the things that I'm most proud of, because I know it's not about me. I'm my end game is set up to benefit the kids and my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? To put them in a better bracket in life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm most proud of. I thank God for the things that Tanya and I have accomplished together. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is what I won't see once I'm not here. You know what I'm saying? And it took sacrifice, and it took investing properly. You know what I'm saying? And making sure we have everything set up. You know what I mean? Too many times things happen in relationships. You know what I mean? See, because a winning game plan don't always have to see, you know what I'm saying? Like you having the winning touchdown, like I said. Right. Sometimes it's gonna, the other, it's gonna be the other person, you know what I'm saying, that gets to celebrate, but you know that you're part of that celebration. You know what I mean? So I know that my kids and my grandkids are gonna be in a better, you know what I'm saying, situation, because I'm setting it up for them to be in it. And that's probably what I'm most proud of, y'all. Like, real talk. Yeah. That's probably what I'm most proud of, is what hasn't even taken place yet. But I know I put in play. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's in play. Because we all gonna leave here. That's a promise. That's what I mean. And a lot of times, we don't want to be to the point where we're selfish. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that, we don't leave debt, but inheritance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
and that's real. The last thing we wanted to say: start small, start over, but let the end game be bigger and better. So, we say that, in wrapping this up, that you may have to start all over again if you've been not paying attention to your spouse in the way that you should have been, if you haven't been loving on them the way you should have been loving on them, if you haven't been investing, the time in them to get to know them and re-know them all over again and understand where one another is and how you two together can come out, on top. This is the reality of it. Stop, playing the I can do it by myself game, because it doesn't work that way. Stop thinking that I don't need you, and I can no, you can't. Because if you want that, then you are saying, you just want to be single. But if you're literally looking to create a winning game plan, start over again. Do it right this time. Ask the person that you're with to forgive you, for even treating them the way that you've been treating them, or, responding to them or not responding to them the way that you should have been. And if you're, dealing with kids, sit your kids down. Listen, y'all, forgive me. I messed up, and I don't want y'all to go down the same road that you see me as a mother, or you see me as a father. We want to do this right. So let's start with something. Let's create a winning game plan together, and let's watch this thing, work on. You'll be surprised when you get everybody on the same page as a husband and wife team, as you're dating or as you're single and building. Listen, when you get on the right page and the same page, I'm telling you, things happen fast, very swiftly. And the bigger picture is going to be a whole lot better. Yes. It's going to be a whole lot better.
Yes, it will.
And we're so thankful for that. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Our little cousin was born today at 7:54 p.m.
No. It was
that's when the picture.
It was 3 something.
Born on Keisha's birthday. Shout out to Keisha.
Oh. Shout out to cousin Chris.
And cousin Hakeem.
On the new birth of our cousin Haley. She's absolutely amazingly beautiful.
Congratulations, guys.
So congratulations to you too.
Yeah.
Creating a winning game plan.
Yes. So guys, we're excited. We hope that you got something from out of this segment here, because we thought it was so important in leading out to 2020 and coming into 2021, because we know next week we want to have fun with you guys. Next week we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways on next week's show. We're going to be dropping stuff throughout the week so that way give you little clues of what's going to take place for next Saturday. And that's our season finale. That's our 12th episode, our season finale. Right. So we want to have fun, but we wanted to end this segment right here with having a real end game, a real winning strategy to turn around and build. And Maurice, I hear you. I'm single and I'm walking away with some good nuggets. And I'm so glad that you got some good nuggets from out of this, because I'm going to tell you something. It's no way in the world that you can't do anything that you put your hand and heart to do in a relationship when you've turned around and you've given it that proper strategy and that proper game plan to turn around and make this work together. And yes, I am going to pray for the singles, because I do believe that the singles, you got the greatest advantage. And this is why I keep sliding y'all in there. This is real love. And see, one thing I love about it, real love is not just talking about those that are married, but those that are dating, those that are single. Because once you understand what and the game plan of what you need, you don't waste time with a lot of other stuff. And you know what the funny thing is? When you got the game plan and you got the right strategy and you have the right mindset towards all of this, you'll draw the attraction in of what you need. Because it's amazing that it says opposites attract, but you know what? Purpose attracts purpose. And that's the thing. When we sloppy in the things that we do, sometimes that's why we end up with sloppy relationships. Absolutely. Because there's a level of sloppiness that creeps out or oozes out, whether it's in your conversation, whether it's in, your actions. You can't be diving out and, and on top of everything, but then, everything is falling apart and in debt. And you can't be, GQ, and turn around and you still, on your mama's sofa. You can't do all these things. So those things, they spill out. They're like the spillover. So guys, I'm telling you, we love y'all. We thank y'all so much for watching and tuning in. We hope that this season, this season 1, he wants to renegotiate his contract. He said, I got to get him an ergonomic chair
and a coffee cup.
And Melissa got him the coffee cup already. So he's halfway there.
Shout out to Melissa M. Honey.
So when y'all see him unwrap his chair for Christmas.
Thanks, sis, for that cup. It's beautiful. When I show you my cup, I'll be sitting on sides. We're going to switch sides.
Yeah, we're going to switch sides. That's next week.
Yeah, we're gonna switch sides. So I can show off my cup that my sister got us.
We love y'all. We are absolutely, excited about everything. Listen, creating a winning team and a game plan for your life, that your relationship, this is what it's all about. So next week, don't forget, listen out. We'll be posting, all throughout the week, so you can see the season finale. We got some amazing giveaways, and we are excited about it to end this season. So this is what it is. The final episode 12, holiday giveaways, romantic secrets to success, relationship for 2021, and so much more. Baby Cakes, you gonna close us out?
Yep.
Close us out.
Heavenly Father, in the precious name of your son, Jesus, we thank you for this opportunity just to speak to the people abroad. We thank you for allowing us to have a winning game plan. We thank you for being the author and the finisher of our faith. May you continue to lead us and guide us in your truth and in your righteousness, and we give you all credit.
Yes.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Guys, you can have it all. 2021 is for you. The end of 2020 is yours too. We love you guys. Enjoy your night. We'll see you next Saturday.
Yeah.
Season finale, baby.
Season finale.